evening and welcome to Real Talk, where every Sunday night we offer insight, education, and resources to in-home caregivers and those affected in their world. These are the children, the parents, the caregivers, the extended family, and everyone who loves them. And our goal is to offer real life topics and learning through discussing real issues and offering real solutions. But tonight we're going to take a little bit different approach to how Real Talk goes. Most of the time, you guys are used to seeing a guest speaker. However, tonight I'm going to be talking to you. And we wanted to do this because we have some really exciting things to share with you. So we're actually going to do this over the course of a couple of Real Talks to let you know about some things that are going on with newborn care solutions and where we're headed in the future. So what I'm going to talk to you tonight is about specifically updates, things that we've changed and updated to improve what you as our students are experiencing. And we're going to talk to you about our vision, about where we're going with things and what that's going to look like for you. So tonight I'm going to focus solely on updates and refilming, but I'm going to touch next time, our next segment is going to be on some new classes and the future of classes at Newborn Care Solutions. So tonight, let's talk about updates. We have online, of course, all of our courses. When we create a course, we actually record them. We record them in front of a live audience, and then we have them produced. So we hire somebody who's a professional video production company to then take that raw film and turn it into what you see when you log into your student portal. We refer to that as our LMS, or the Learning Module System, but they are the ones who make that look pretty. They're the ones who add the music. They're the ones who add a lot of the graphics and really give it that professional polish. What they're not responsible for is the content. We're the ones responsible for the content. And there are times when we have to periodically look at our content and say, what do we need to improve? Maybe it's because there's been new research that's come out. Maybe it's because there have been cultural changes. Maybe it's just the quality of the production that's there. And so we look at those things and we make sure that as we go along, when we can reasonably do them, we make those updates. Now, originally, we planned to make updates in 2020 to a couple of our programs. But because we film in front of a live audience, 2020 just didn't happen. As most of you also experienced, we all spent a lot of time at home in 2020. And as things improved, 2021 allowed us some opportunities. And we took advantage of that. And we did some filming of some new classes that we created. And we also did some updates to a couple of classes. And so I'm going to address those specifically. Because people say, well, what did you update? What did you do? What's in there? What do I need to worry about? And so we're going to talk about that. The reality is that filming any of our courses for online presentation takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of research. It takes a lot of time and a lot of expense. So we're going to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, what that looks like, and why we can't just pop in and update something every single time we'd like to. The reality is, for example, for each hour of online content, just my part of it in preparation for that, I spend approximately 20 hours doing research and preparation, plus drawing on my own experience and the valuable experiences that are oftentimes shared by others. Of course, we only use things that are shared with permission, right? But there's about 20 hours, sometimes 25, that goes into preparing for just 1 hour of presentation. So that's not what the producers do. That's just my part personally. And so when we have to make updates, I have to go back and do all of that work over again, which I'm happy to do in order to bring quality content to our students. But it's not just to pop on the screen and say something. And it's just not as simple as filming a few words and then putting it up online. We essentially start over, even if it's only for one segment of something, like it's a new course. So we do all the research again. We see what any updated research is out there. We look at the words we use and the terminology and look at things like our workbooks. So when we update a workbook, for example, many of you don't know this, but our workbooks are all registered as published books with the Library of Congress. And so it's not just go change out a page and then print the new book. It is a completely new book that has to be created from scratch. So we create the content over again, and we create the workbook over again. And then of course we have to film it all over again and then go into production, have them try and integrate things, especially if we're only updating small segments. And so it's a lot of work and a lot of very intentional looking at things and a lot of expense to film and produce the videos that are the backbone of Newborn Care Solutions. And one of the things that we have to look at sometimes is, do we need to make those changes, right? Everybody has to start somewhere. And when we first started, we didn't have a lot of money to put into things, but we knew we had a message to share. We knew we had a passion. So we did the best we could with what we had, and then we've updated as we've gone along. And it's fun, it's challenging because it's a full-scale production now, but it's also a lot of fun to bring you those updates. And as our company's grown, we've been able to prepare for and make more of those updates. Now, we started with our foundational class 3 years ago when we made some updates to that, both in the video quality and in some of the content, in order for it to be what it is now, which is an internationally accredited course. It is accredited through Cash International out of the UK, which of course then provides you as the viewer the opportunity to utilize that towards certification as a newborn care specialist. And it's also been approved by CAPA, which then allows, if you are a postpartum doula, for you to utilize that course towards your ongoing education and your CEUs to maintain certification. So we love that we were able to do that and are very proud of the fact that we are accredited and also an approved course through Cash International. But we also knew that in this past year and a half, 2 years, we needed to make some updates to some of our other classes. And so we looked first at our advanced class. And we wanted to update some of the research information. Most of those updates were fairly minor. We wanted to update some of the information about things in the NCS community. There were some bigger updates in that area, but really positive ones. So we're excited about that. We also wanted to get updated ideas and suggestions from Marley, who teaches our segment on working with higher order multiples. So you'll see a whole new segment on that with Marley, still as the instructor, but updated information, some new information there. And of course, many of the things still very much the same in working with multiples, because in particular, higher order multiples can be a challenge, but they're also a whole lot of fun. And we wanted to share some clarity around the presentation on working in staffed homes, because there are some very unique things about working in an estate or staffed home environment that aren't necessarily the same as when you work for like a high profile family where there's a ton of security. This is more about working in those homes, working with an estate manager, that sort of thing. And we wanted to provide a little bit of information. So we didn't update the whole segment. We just updated kind of the introduction to it so you'd understand kind of the why behind it, and made a couple little tweaks here and there. We also were made really aware of, through changes in our cultural shift, that we needed to change some of the language in many of the segments in that program. And so we've made updates to the language to be more inclusive, particularly in the introduction of the program, because Newborn Care Solutions has always had a passion about everybody feeling welcome and safe when they learn with us. And so we wanted to make that change. Those things really are kind of where we made the major changes in the advanced program. So much of the program is still the same, but we touched on all of those points to make some updates and improve the program based on your feedback as our students. The other program that we made a significant update to was Green is the New Black. And that course was interesting to update because the reality is most of the information was actually still 100% relevant and 100% accurate. We even went so far as to leave a video in there that was filmed several years ago, because the content and the impression that that video makes are so significant in terms of understanding why this is an important topic for us, for our personal lives, our personal families, but also the families that we work for and that we impact. And so most of the information was left the same. We only made a few updates to things like statistics. So we have more current studies that were cited, more current studies that were shared in order to have the most relevant information around there. We did either clarify some of our language and the usage of terms, or explain why we continued to use certain ones. And so we gave a lot more information around that. But the reality is, most of our goal with updating The Green is the New Black was to have a better looking and better sounding production, so that you, as the student, the one experiencing that course, could feel like you were really getting a professional experience, a professional production. And of course, we now have access to the resources that we were able to utilize to make that happen. And so we're really excited about these updates, and we know that it will, be a much better experience for you as the end user as you are looking at these things. Of course, as time goes on, we will continue to evaluate our programs. We will continue to listen to feedback from you as our students and what updates need to be made. And as we are able to do so, we will absolutely continue to look at those and to improve. Because our goal always at Newborn Care Solutions is to make sure that you have access to the most relevant, up-to-date information that we can provide for you on an ongoing basis. That is a big part of why there's always been that lifetime access to the online courses for our regular students, because we want you to know, so that if an update is made, you have access to that new information. And in case you're interested in these classes, in case you're wondering, well, what do these two courses even cover? I wanted to give you a basic overview, and we'll put some of this information and links to it in the feed as well, so that you can check these things out. But we wanted to give you some information around that. So in the advanced class, we cover some things more in depth and some new topics. So foundational, right? That's where everybody starts with our company. And we've been told many times there's nothing foundational about our foundational class. It is not how to change a diaper or how to make a bottle. And we've had people say this is not NCS 101. It's in depth into medical information, conditions you might see with newborns, how to work with families, in depth about food allergies, sleep, so many things, right? So it's a much more in-depth class than the name makes it sound. But that was our goal, because it wasn't designed for beginners. It was designed right out of the gate for people who are already childcare professionals. So there's an assumption of knowledge already. There's an assumption that you know how to change a diaper, that you know how to correctly and safely make a bottle. And we want to spend our time focusing on the in-depth stuff around those things, right? And so we touch on it all. But then we heard we need more, we want to learn more. And so in the advanced, we go into advanced sleep conditioning techniques. In particular, we explore a couple of different things that a lot of people have questions around: how to use a dream feed properly, and how to use wake to sleep properly to address sleep issues. Now, if you really want to get in depth into addressing sleep issues as an NCS or as a nanny, we have a totally separate course called Sleep Solutions. It's not a sleep consultant class, but it is a class that gives you real life situations and real life problem solving around 6 common sleep issues that babies have. So there is that if you really want to get in depth into it. That's a one-off class, and these other classes are not prerequisites. We also talk about advanced infant feeding, and we talk about the science behind human milk, formula, and formula alternatives, plus working with babies who have medical needs like feeding tubes, other specialty devices, things like that, so that you feel more secure in your knowledge if you encounter a more challenging situation. We talk about infant brain development. Our goal always with the babies that we work with is optimal sleep. optimal brain development, optimal feeding experiences. And so we talk about how sleep, nutrition, and the environment directly impact newborn brain development, and how what we as newborn care specialists can do makes such a difference in supporting families and supporting infants for optimal brain development. We talk about working with premature babies. Now, I'd love to tell you that I created all this, but the reality is our fantastic content in this segment about working with premature babies was actually helped in development mostly from an NCS that I've known for many years and had immense respect for. Her name's Annie Duguid, and she is our company expert on preemies and provided just some phenomenal content that helps you have a better understanding of premature babies and their specific medical needs and specific kind of environmental needs and emotional needs, and the things that you and the families you're working with can do to support these babies. We talk about special needs car seat use for preemies. Again, not my area of expertise. Instead, we have newborn care solutions expert Lisa Cody, who teaches about this. She is actually certified in special needs and preemie car seat use, and she teaches about that for us. Working with higher order multiples, twins, triplets, and more, with guest presenter Marley Driscoll, who is the 2015 INA Nanny of the Year. And she is one of our newborn care solutions experts also. She's a master NCS, so she's gone through every single program that we offer and offers insight and guidance to our students on a regular basis. We talk about alternative care options for common infant ailments, looking at sometimes a non-Western approach. We look at what the Western approach is and non-Western options for our clients who might be interested in that. Working for high profile clients in a staffed home with special guest Gary Cockram, who's an estate manager and the DEMA 2015 Service Provider of the Year, because as an estate manager, he has a very unique perspective and a unique insight to you coming into the home as an NCS, and also the fact that a lot of times families want you to stay on. And sometimes NCS do make that choice, sometimes they don't, but nevertheless, what that's like to come into a staffed home environment and how to be very successful in that environment. We talk about difficulties and challenges in the NCS world and kind of how to handle them. This goes all the way from clients to other NCS and to the actual organizations that support our industry. And we talk about better business practices, how to be really successful as an NCS in business and to set yourself up as a professional. I'm pretty well known for saying, if you're going to expect professional treatment, professional benefits, and professional pay, you need to look and act like a professional. And we talk about what that means in a practical sense in that class. And then our green is the new black. People think, what is that? What does that matter? Of course, that's a catchy play on words, and lots of different organizations have utilized those play on words over time, right? Started in the fashion industry, it's gone into the entertainment industry, and of course we utilized it here too. But we talk about, why does going green matter and what is going green? Because not everybody knows what that means. But that's about working with families who want to take a more eco-conscious approach, either for their family's health or for the environment or for both. And we talk about how our health is affected and the impacts on environmental toxins, on health conditions like cancer, on conditions such as autism and ADHD, and how those things are impacted in some cases. It's not an across the board for any of these, but we talk about what science is showing us around toxic exposure and a variety of different conditions in our world and in our environment. We talk about infant brain development and toxic exposure to the infant brain. We talk about toxins in our environment. We talk about our unique impact as newborn care specialists and nannies in the home, and how we can influence sometimes in a very positive way the decisions that are made around that household, and the practical ways that we can help, the things that we can do that make a difference in terms of choices that are made around products and around things that come into the home. And then we also talk about, does eating organic really matter and why? And if it does matter, then how do we do that? How do we do that effectively and really have it make a difference? And we talk about the realities of that, because sometimes eating fully organic is just not a reality for our clients or for ourselves. And we talk about, if you have to make choices, here's how to determine what the best choices are. And so we really take a lot of time going into those things so that you can have a positive impact, both in your world and for the clients you work for. We think that those of you who experience these both for the first time and if you go back and watch them again are really going to appreciate some of the updates that we've made to these programs, and we're excited to bring them to you. As always, we appreciate you as our students, we appreciate you as our clients, and we always look forward to hearing from you in ways that we serve you and ways that we can provide more for you. So thank you so much for joining us tonight on Real Talk. It's been an honor to get to share with you and talk to you about some exciting new changes. And I look forward to sharing with you in our next Real Talk about our new upcoming classes and what those are going to look like. Those in particular are really just something close to my heart, some of them because of a personal affiliation with that, and also just because I love bringing content, I love bringing education to our students and sharing with you all. If you have any questions around this topic and what changes we've made, please put them in the feed and tag Newborn Care Solutions or email us in the office, info@newborncaresolutions.com, and we'll make sure you get answers around that. If you're wanting to rewatch this segment or any of our past Real Talk episodes, along with accessing our other content, pop on over to newborncaresolutions.com and click on the Education tab, or check out all of our content on our YouTube channel. Just type Newborn Care Solutions into the YouTube search and it comes up. Thanks so much for joining us and have a great night.